This was by far one of my favorite episodes of Akame Got Kill into its short stint, and man, Esdeath is one cold bitch. This be Akame Got Kill episode 10, Kill the Temptation. Well, hello my brothers and sisters and Tegu users of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and epic and sexually tension-filled tale of Akame Got Kill. Now, our last episode, of course, saw us with really the climax or the ending of it being that Tatsumi had been picked by Esdeath, General Esdeath, to basically be her, sex slave, lover, backup member of the Jagers, whatever the case may be. And that's how things left off, certainly kind of wondering what Tatsumi's fate was going to be, and it's certainly looking like Esdeath was going to fuck his brains out. So, that is how things left off, and things wind up picking up over here. We don't know how much time has passed. I presume that it's probably been a short amount of time, a day or two, a week, I don't know. But the newly formed team of Jagers, of Esdeath's Jagers, we get to see front and center right before the opening song. And that first 2 minutes is actually very action-packed. We get to see this team and how formidable they are in battle and in action. And just right off the bat, it seems like they're going to be a much bigger threat to Night Raid ongoing than obviously the three were that we saw in the episodes past, and how they were fairly handily defeated. I guess I shouldn't say that because obviously Night Raid did wind up losing a member in Bulad, but other than that, they exchanged 1 for 3, so as far as I'm concerned, Night Raid's still on top. Anyway, you get to see them in battle, and you get to see Akame's sister, Kuromi, I believe, and she is just a freaky little kind of badass bitch, but she's got her little schoolgirl uniform on, and after she's slicing and dicing people up, she talks about, after she dismembers them, she talks about how she'll put them back together later on and play with them as dolls or marionettes or something like that. So she's a couple sandwiches shy of a good picnic, if you know what I mean. At least she looks like that anyway. That's my initial impression. And we just get to see a bunch of really, really cool action and seeing this team, work together. Now, from a distance, Esdeath, and I guess they're attacking some kind of rebels base, somebody that's against the capital, and they're handily defeating, dozens and dozens of people. And Tatsumi is sitting there kind of off on this ridge with Esdeath, and they're, holding hands, and he's doing this inner monologue about how he should have tried to escape, but he can't, and and she's just absolutely enamored and infatuated with him, right? And then he's like, well, maybe later on, and then he's like, maybe I could get her to come to our side, right? So then his next goal is, well, maybe I can talk her into joining us, right? Into joining my side, into seeing my point of view. And I'm thinking, oh boy, that's not good, right? Because he's heard about this chick before, and now he's seen her, but he hasn't really seen her in action doing anything, And I'm thinking, oh boy, So for me, the most comical and just the way it was put together moment, of the show so far was the few minutes that follows. Later on that night, they show where you get the kind of obligatory, Esdeath is butt naked in the shower scene, and of course all the bits they need to cover up are covered up. But Esdeath she's sporting some pretty big sweater puppies over there, and of course she's got the blue hair, and she's just the sexy character, and obviously too having a lot of strength too. You see many characters in many different manga and animes, and it seems like the female role is relegated to kind of like a backseat or a very like a damsel in distress, a very I'm weak, I'm that sort of thing. But I really like this show because you have some strong characters. Night Raid is comprised mainly of females now, female characters. And, and then, of course, even like Akame and Esdeath. These two are very, very strong-willed females. And I think that's very cool, and that's very important to have, because it strikes good balance, too. And regardless of who's watching, whether it's primarily male, primarily female, it doesn't really matter. To me, it makes it more realistic because, and you can draw in a bigger audience that way. Anyway, Esdeath gets out of the shower. And she comes out in this sexy, short little robe thing, and she's got the cleavage, and her big bazungas are about to bounce out, And I'm just looking at her, I'm going, man, And she's not even a MILF. She's like a GILF. Instead of a mom I'd like to fuck, she's like a general I'd like to fuck, Just super, super sexy, and just the way the animation and everything is wonderful. But Tatsumi is trying to go and kind of man up, as she's going to get out of the shower, and then when she does, and he's doing this inner monologue where he's like, I gotta talk to her, I basically just gotta man up, right? And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, listen, bro, okay, I get it, right? I get it. She's scary, you want to get her over to your side and everything else, but here's the deal, right? You go and give her your trouser snake over there, okay? Give her some sweet lovin'. Give her some sweet Tatsumi lovin', okay? And then go, and when you have pillow talk, smoking a cigarette time, that's when you go and ask her to join your side, right? After her legs are shaking and she's so excited because you were just, you just inserted, you just inserted tab A into slot B. Anyway, you get the idea. But he winds up going and talking to her and basically saying, what if I don't like the Capitol and the things that they've done, and I was thinking about joining the Revolutionary Army, right? And she just slaps him. And then afterwards, she goes and she starts licking the wound, like a cat or like a dog. And I'm like, oh my God, this bitch is a little bit cuckoo, But at the same time, those are the ones that are probably really, really freaky in bed. So I would have at least gotten some, because then after that, after he realized she's not going to come to his side, then he's planning his escape, right? And she straight up warns him when he goes to take a shower, like, we're going to just cuddle tonight and everything, but don't think about running away or making some kind of scene. You will pay, So I understand, yeah, that's a little bit freaky, but you might as well get the free sex while you're there. You know what I mean? You might as well. And who knows? Who knows what'll happen if you make her scream. But anyway, that winds up comprising probably the first half of the episode. It was just an excellent episode, I thought. And then we wind up meeting and seeing this character, Wave, who we were introduced to in the last episode. He's one of the Jagers. And I don't know why, but he strikes me as a character that may eventually be good. Maybe he doesn't have... I think he's a character that could eventually turn to the side of Night Raid and fight against, the Imperial Army and everything else. Just because of the way he is. He seems like he's too nice of a character for this Jaeger team. But anyway, the next day, Esdeath and she winds up going off with somebody. She's partnered up with somebody, I forget who. Maybe it was Kuromi, I don't know. But anyway, Wave and Tatsumi get paired up, and they're going out to hunt danger beasts, And Wave is kind of and the reason too that I like Wave is because he was talking with Tatsumi and kind of saying like, hey, I feel for you, and you're in Esdeath's clutches and this and that. And so they were talking and they're having a good time. They're kind of getting to know each other type of thing. And then all of a sudden a bunch of these crazy like tree danger beast things pop up, and you wind up they have to pull out their swords and take them out. Wave turns around, Tatsumi's gone, right? Because he's been trying to plan his escape the whole time. He's just gone. The cool thing is that we wind up finding out, we see Tatsumi, and he's got his Incursio armor on from Bulat, and he's kind of just flying away and everything else, trying to get away from him. Then we go and we find out that Wave has like an upgraded version of that Incursio armor. Supposedly it was his armor was actually created from the Incursio, but like improved upon, right? It's like the model version 2.0. So he goes and pulls out his armor and shit, and winds up coming upon Tatsumi, not knowing it's him, but knowing and recognizing the Incursio armor and recognizing that he's a member of Night Raid, right? So there's a really cool battle between the two that ensue, and it really isn't so much of a battle as it is Tatsumi trying to run and dodge and duck and just kind of get away, but winding up seeing that these two Tegu users both have these similar armor type Tegu. Very, very cool stuff. Very neat stuff. Anyway, the end result is he winds up performing an attack on Tatsumi, this downward dropping kick, and Tatsumi winds up, as he hits the water, he disappears, uses the invisibility option that he has on the Incursio, and is able to get away down the river. But he winds up, the armor winds up dropping off him after that, and he's got some blood coming out of his mouth. We know it takes a big toll on him physically and mentally, but he also explains that like he absorbed that kick, and if he hadn't done that right, or if he maybe hadn't had that Incursio armor on, it would have straight up killed him. That's how powerful it was, right? And then you go and you see, and if you can't just throw salt in the wound, insult to injury, right? It looks up and there's this other danger beast, right? This weird horned creature, just about to go. And he's like, I have no strength to fight him. And I'm like, oh God, poor bastard, This guy, 1 minute he's in Esdeath's clutches and she's wanting to go and rub her titties in his face and take her panties hit the floor. And the next minute he's fighting another dude with like an Incursio type armor. And then poor guy comes out the river half dead, and a danger beast about to bite him, eat him. Anyway, at the last second, I like Akame drops in, cuts this thing's head off, and she's like, what the hell? He's all surprised, and she says, well, we've been watching you from afar. So obviously, Night Raid has kind of been keeping tabs on him from a distance, and it winds up being her and Lubbock that wind up kind of. Lubbock's funny. He's like, yeah, we had to come and get you, because otherwise without you, I'm the only guy here, and then it would be like I'd be surrounded by a harem, by a bunch of bitches around me type of thing. But the episode winds up ending off shortly after that. We see Esdeath punishing Wave, and he's sitting there. They're putting bricks on him and everything else, like these big concrete blocks, and torturing him. And she tells him, she goes, because he apologizes and everything else for his failure, for letting Tatsumi get away. And then she doesn't realize that Tatsumi also has the Incursio armor, so she thinks that he not only let Tatsumi get away, but that he also failed to capture one of the Night Raid people. So Wave is on the shit list right now. That's why I'm thinking this guy, he's already in the bad category as far as, his check marks and the shit that he's done wrong in her eyes. And that means he's either going to die soon, or he's going to go and he's going to see the light and he's going to come over to Night Raid, That's what I'm hoping for anyway. But we wind up seeing that. We don't know a whole lot about, of course, about Akame's sister. What we do know from when Tatsumi goes and actually is back with Night Raid and he explains he saw her sister, blah blah blah. How come she didn't come with you? Akame says, she goes, because she chose to stay with the Capitol. She's still brainwashed. Okay, she thinks that Akame's the traitor, right? And we don't know their background, their whatever. I don't know what the deal is. I just know that these two is not going to be good because they're eventually going to wind up meeting up and what have you. And I think Hiromi is she's out for blood for Akame, And then at the end of the episode, we wind up seeing the kind of crazy mad scientist guy of Esdeath's one or whatever, with these weird like mutated humans, I guess, that he mutated to like have like extra sensory, whatever, extra, scent, better scent tracking abilities. Sorry, I can't talk this morning. And we see that they're coming upon and finding Night Raid's hideout, and that's the end of the episode, So I'm sitting there thinking, oh man, if shit just can't, just ratchet it up a notch, right? This is a very, very cool show, and probably one of my favorite ongoing ones, or at least one of my favorite newer ones that I'm watching. I'm still doing Attack on Titan, obviously, with my family. My son and I have started the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood reviews, and that's an excellent series so far. But this series is really just, man, it's got me going. It's always, every episode has been a treat. This one, nothing short of awesome. And especially, like I said, because you mixed in a ton of action, some story progression, some character development, and then just the sort of funny, like, almost sex scene between Esdeath and Tatsumi, and how she's, like, cuddling with him and holding him as a body pillow, man, just cracked me up. So, my episode question for you, though, brothers and sisters, is what are your thoughts on Wave? Do you think that Wave is completely committed to the to the Imperial Army, or do you think that he might be able to come over to the side of Night Raid? What are your thoughts on Wave and his allegiance? Do you think it could switch? Do you think it couldn't? And then the second part of that question is, do you think Tatsumi did the right thing, trying to get away as quickly as he could? Now, whether he stayed and had sex with her for a while or what, that's kind of just the goofy off the beaten path thing, but realistically, he probably could have escaped at almost any time, especially as he gains more trust and everything else from her and from everybody else. Would it have been better for him to hang around for a little bit, try to kind of infiltrate and get more information on the various the Jaeger team, and then Esdeath herself? Would that have been better for him to try to be the inside guy, or do you think it would have been too dangerous because Esdeath obviously tortures and kills people, and as soon as she gets tired of him, would she just do the same? So leave your answer to those loaded questions in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a nice day.